A protest over the voter list that turned violent, that ended in judicial officers being held hostage for over 9 hours. And in Malda, this line between dissent and lawlessness, it's violently been blurred. Let's break this down for all of our viewers and understand. Because a protest that turned into a siege, a grievance that turned into a full-blown hostage crisis in Malda. 7 judicial officers tasked with safeguarding the electoral process were themselves trapped for hours, surrounded, cut off and rescued only past midnight at 1 a.m. And which is why we must ask tonight, when protest crosses into intimidation, is this still democracy or something far more dangerous than that? The alleged mastermind, and we've got latest details for you, Mafakrul Islam, has been arrested whilst he was trying to flee. But the bigger story is what led to this breakdown. What began as anger over the voter list deletions quickly escalated into blockades. We're talking about violence and a direct assault on the system itself. The Supreme Court of India has already flagged this as a pre-planned, calculated attempt. And now, the NIA, the National Investigation Agency, has stepped in amidst this intensifying probe. And this is no longer just a local flashpoint. This is a test of governance, a test of accountability, and the limits of how far a protest can actually go. 7 judicial officers were ghered out for over 9 hours. As protests over the voter list deletion spiraled completely out of control, the BDO office was surrounded by an angry mob, highways were blocked, and normal life across multiple districts came to a standstill. And what began as a protest soon turned into a full-blown crisis, forcing police into a late-night rescue operation to safely evacuate the officials. Now, the focus shifts to accountability. The key accused, Mafakrul Islam, has been detained while trying to flee from Bagdogra airport. Multiple FIRs have been registered, dozens have already been arrested, and police say provocative speeches played a key role in inciting the crowd. Some of those visuals will tell you a picture similar to that statement. A wider crackdown is now underway, even as BJP and Trinamool Congress now train guns at each other, as investigators piece together what led to this escalation. At the heart of this flashpoint lies the Special Intensive Revision row. Allegations of mass voter deletions triggered widespread anger, with many claiming large-scale exclusions from electoral rolls. Villagers took to the streets demanding restoration of their names, but what followed has now raised serious concerns about the disruption of the electoral process itself at large and whether genuine grievance was overtaken by uncontrolled mobilization. And even as the investigation gathers pace, the political lines are being drawn sharply. Take a look at this. The Supreme Court of India has termed the incident a pre-planned, calculated attempt to disrupt the electoral process. A serious observation that raises questions far beyond just law and order. On the other hand, you've got Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal. She's called it an attempt to defame the state and impose president's rule, turning the spotlight firmly on the centre. Then the opposition, it's hitting back just as hard. Suvendu Adhikari says law and order has collapsed, whilst Sukanta Majumdar alleges that state leadership's statement fueled the violence. And amid this political crossfire, the police are drawing a clear line. Protest may be a democratic right, but violence under any circumstances cannot be allowed. The big questions that we're trying to decode: where do we draw that line between protest and anarchy? Was Malda a governance failure? Was it a political orchestration? Can elections remain credible amid such violence? Is the system even equipped to protect its own officials? And will the NIA probe bring accountability, or will it now give way to more politics? With us on the broadcast, joining us from West Bengal, Suman Mahapatra, senior correspondent, TV9 Bangla, is with us on the broadcast, and Shishir Bajoria, BJP leader, West Bengal. We're soon going to be joined by Tausif Khan, who's a political analyst as well. But let me quickly go across to my colleague. Suman, help the viewers understand first and foremost, what's the latest on the ground right now? Has the situation stabilized from what we were seeing given the past 2 days, or is the tension still simmering? What exactly do the police FIRs in the initial findings say about the role of this new mastermind, Mafakrul Islam? How central was he to the entire escalation, even as BJP and Trinamool Congress are now exchanging pictures online? Help the viewers, what's really important at the moment.
Not yet. The tension was still there. और ये बात मैं आपको क्लियर कर दूं कि जिनको अरेस्ट किया है कि मुफक्करुल इस्लाम, वो 2021 साल में इटाहार से AIMM का कैंडिडेट था और अरेस्ट किया है अक्रमुल बगानी को। वो एक यूट्यूबर है। अभी बीजेपी वाले वो दावा कर रहे हैं कि साबिना यास्मीन को भी अरेस्ट करना चाहिए क्योंकि वो भी प्रोटेस्ट में थे। देखिए, मुद्दा ये है कि जहां पर ये इंसिडेंट हुआ है वो है कालिया चौक का बीडीओ ऑफिस में, और उसके 2 से 4 किलोमीटर अंदर ही पुलिस का फाड़ी है, पुलिस स्टेशन है। फिर भी 2.25 घंटे तक पुलिस वहां पर नहीं पहुंचा, क्यों? किसका ऑर्डर था कि पुलिस वहां पर नहीं पहुंचेगा?
Credible.
देखिए, डीएम और एसपी को सोकॉस किया गया है। डीएम ऑफिस है वहां से बस 17 किलोमीटर के अंदर, फिर भी प्रॉम्प्ट एक्शन नहीं मिला। अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो ऑब्जर्वेशन आया है वहां पर क्लियर हो चुका है कि जुडिशियरी के जो सबसे बड़े लोग हैं, मतलब कि हाईकोर्ट की जो चीफ जज है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जो जजेस हैं, वो लोग भी इंटरफेयर किए थे। और वो लोग भी बात कर चुके थे डीजीपी से, वो लोग बात कर चुके थे चीफ सेक्रेटरी से कि आप एक्शन लीजिए। फिर भी इतने देर तक वो लोग वहां पर घिराव ढूके रहे। 7 जुडिशियल ऑफिसर, उनमें 4 ऐसे हैं जिनका पूरा चीख सुनाई दिया कि वो जब गाड़ी से लौट रहे थे तो उनके ऊपर ब्रिक्स वगैरह ये तोड़ा गया।
जी।
अब मुद्दा आया कि पुलिस अभी तक 35 पीपल को टोटल अरेस्ट किया है। वहां पर मुफक्किरुल इस्लाम एक है अक्रमुल बगान। लेकिन जो 700 का मॉब था उसमें क्यों सिर्फ 35 को अरेस्ट किया गया? और मुफक्किरुल इस्लाम यही क्या मेन एक्यूज्ड है, या फिर पुलिस किसी को सेफगार्ड करना चाह रही है? ये भी बीजेपी से सवाल उठा है। देखिए, यहाँ पर सिर्फ ये बात से ही हम अगर चुप रह जाए तो बहुत सारा बात नहीं बोला जाएगा। इंग्लिश बाजार में सुजापुर में अभी तक चक्का जाम चल रहा है। बहुत
Okay.
सारी जगह पर इस एसआईआर प्रोसेस को लेकर अभी भी तानाशाही मचा हुआ है। कैसे? ये मैं बता रहा हूं कि एसआईआर प्रोसेस जब चल रहा है तो जुडिशियल ऑफिसर खाना पीना बंद करके हफ्ते में एक दिन भी छुट्टी नहीं लेके वो लोग क्यों काम कर रहे हैं कि एसआईआर कंप्लीट होने के बाद ही इलेक्शन हो सकता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ये निर्देश है, ऑर्डर है।
Yep.
अब अगर अगर एसआईआर बाकी रह गया तो इलेक्शन में दो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो मेन है, बीजेपी तृणमूल, वहां पर सीपीएम भी है, वो लोग ये सवाल उठाएंगे कि वोटर लिस्ट भी सही नहीं हुआ, आप कैसे वोट करा सकते हैं? अभी ये एसआईआर प्रोसेस अगर कंप्लीट ना हो पाया तो इलेक्शन का फ्यूचर को लेके ही बहुत सारा सवाल उठ जाएगा। यहाँ पर मेरा और भी कुछ कहना है डेमोग्राफी चेंजेस वगैरह वगैरह में। अभी जो मेन ग्राउंड सिचुएशन वहां पर है, टेंशन वहां पर है। और अभी ये 35 लोगों का अरेस्ट से कुछ काम नहीं बना है, क्योंकि सुजापुर में, इंग्लिश बाजार में अभी भी चक्का जाम पूरा,
चक्का
जो
जाम अभी
ट्रैफिक।
भी मौजूद है। और जब पूरा घेराव 700 लोगों ने किया तो सिर्फ 35 एफआईआर्स क्यों? ये सब ऑफ कोर्स क्रेडिबल क्वेश्चंस। हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए सुमन, आपके पास वापस आएंगे सवाल जवाब करने। द बीजेपी इज रिप्रेजेंटेटिव विद अस ऑन द शो टुनाइट, बीजेपी लीडर फ्रॉम वेस्ट बंगाल शिशिर बजोरिया। मेनी थैंक्स फॉर टेकिंग ऑन द टाइम सर। You're calling it a law and order failure. We've heard what the BJP is essentially saying, but this is also about political polarization that's turning every grievance into confrontation. The ruling party alleges a larger conspiracy. This is what Trinamool Congress is alleging, that there is a larger conspiracy involving multiple actors. Some of those pictures that both the parties have shared online. How does the BJP substantiate its claims, and what's your assessment of the larger law and order rubric of what's happened in Malda, sir?
Well, very clearly, there's not this side of the story or that side of the story. There's only one. The story starts when SIR was ordered. This was a process which happens in the country at a regular interval, this time after a long. This happens to be the 9th SIR, but the Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress went on very high decibel pitch, there will be no SIR. They started this. I'm giving you the background. There will be no SIR. No, in West Bengal, there cannot be an SIR. From that day, every step of SIR, they have tried to do their best to either block or to create some panic or to create trouble. They have not been successful. Now it's come to the last stage where these 60 lakh voters whose names were under adjudication was going on. By court's order, judicial officers, not only from West Bengal, but from neighboring states were deputed. And mind you, these judicial officers have been sitting there and working day in and day out. Day in and day out, no holiday, nothing. They could have said that we will take one day holiday. But in the interest of voters, they have done this. It was a pre-planned move what happened that day at Kalia Chowk. By the way, listeners, your viewers must know Kalia Chowk has a history. Few years back, in the same place, Kalia Chowk, a police station was burned down. And police were quietly watching their own police station being burned down. This is the place where counterfeit notes have been found.
Exactly what I was
believe
trying to
there's a printing
understand, because
press.
Mr. Bajoria, we've seen these kind of instances take place across the country. Of course, it's always forbidden, it's always looked down upon. But this collapse of law and order and protest turning violent is not something that's unique, not just to Bengal as well. And you're pointing out that this Malda incident is a little different. It's a little unique because of the history of Kalia Chowk itself.
And also what happened that day. Now look what happened. It's not that all of a sudden a mob arrived. All of a sudden these judicial officers were gherao. Judicial officers being gherao, detained in a house, in a building, never heard of. It went on for hours and hours and hours. The police were quietly letting it happen.
That's right, sir. But my colleague Suman is also here, and what should the viewers really believe? Because you see, Trinamool Congress has put out its own tweet. They say there are 3 BJP agents who orchestrated the unrest in Malda. They say first is Jayant Kant, Maulana Muhammad Shahjahan Ali Qadri, ISF candidate from Mothabari, arrested on charges of organizing the agitation. Then you've got Fakhrul Islam. Who is Fakhrul Islam? Whose stooge is Fakhrul Islam? What should the people believe here?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my party is concerned, it's very simple. Whoever is the perpetrator, do not look at his political color. Do not look at his political color. Book him, put him behind bars. But my question is, what was the police doing for those hours? Did the police have no intel? Did the police did not know that even after they got them out, that the roads were blocked? Did they not know that there were people on the road with stones? So they seem to be knowing nothing. They were part of the thing. I was shocked to hear the statement of the ADG North Bengal. He even justified why police went late. This is, I am sure the Election Commission will take a very strong view, and now it's with NIA. This is unheard of in the country, that judicial officers are detained. And then when they are being rescued under protection, the cars are being stoned.
No, it's a serious issue, because the Supreme Court has flagged it itself. It's clearly a serious issue. And I mean, way past midnight was when the rescue took place. Suman, Malda के अलावा अगर बात की जाए, ये SIR related protests और इस तरीके का विरोध प्रदर्शन, जो टेंशन सिमर हो रहे हैं, मालदा के अलावा क्या और भी जिलों से इस प्रकार की खबर आ रही है? आने वाले दिनों में कुछ ऐसे प्रोटेस्ट और देखने को मिल सकते हैं? पुलिस की कंट्रोल से बात क्या निकल चुकी है? लोग अब ये सवाल उठा रहे हैं।
देखिए, एक बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि मालदा में जो वोट परसेंटेज है ना, 2021 में टीएमसी को मिला था 53%, बीजेपी को मिला था 32.8%, और जो है बहुत ही कम नंबर मिला है। कांग्रेस इज अ की प्लेयर देयर। अब शिशिर साहब यहाँ पर है, उनको पता है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन मालदा जिला में, मुर्शिदाबाद जिले में यहाँ पर ज्यादा से ज्यादा नजरदारी चल रहा है कि ऐसा सिचुएशन ना हो, क्योंकि मालदा, मुर्शिदाबाद और भी थोड़ा आप नॉर्थ की तरफ जाएंगे तो वहां पर एसआईआर को लेके बहुत भारी मात्रा में प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है। अभी ये जो प्रोटेस्ट है ये इतना बड़ा हो गया कि आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल हो गया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोल दिया है कि यह है टोटली ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इन स्टेट। अब पुलिस को, ममता बनर्जी ये कह रहे हैं कि तृणमूल ये कह रहा है कि पुलिस जो है, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, वो तो सब इलेक्शन कमीशन के अंडर में, मेरा कुछ करना नहीं है इसके साथ। लेकिन आपको ये मैं कुछ डेटा बताता हूं। अब देखिए, जो हम बोल रहे हैं कि कैसे वहां पर पॉपुलेशन का ग्रोथ हुआ है। ओल्ड मालदा में एक डिकेड में 33.44% पॉपुलेशन का ग्रोथ है। कलिया चौक में ग्रोथ है 26.24%, कलिया चौक 3 में ग्रोथ है 26.27%। अब ये नेशनल एवरेज से ज्यादा है, इसलिए वहां पर एसआईआर में ज्यादा नाम डिलीट हुआ है, ज्यादा नाम एडजुडिकेशन पे गया है। और उनको देखना पड़ रहा है कि जो जुडिशियल ऑफिसर्स लोग हैं वो देख रहे हैं कि एक फादर का 7-8 बच्चा है। अब वो तो टेक्निकल मिस्टेक नहीं हो सकता ना, उसको चेक करना पड़ेगा, वो चेकिंग ही चल रहा है यहाँ पर। और एक बात मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, एक डेटा मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ। आप देख पा रहे हैं, ये ग्रोथ है, एक स्टैटिस्टिक्स है। ये ग्रोथ लगातार चल रहे हैं वहां पर पॉपुलेशन का। बीजेपी हर वक्त कह रहा है कि ये जो ग्रोथ हो रहा है ये क्रॉस बॉर्डर लिंक है इसके साथ। लेकिन जो एसआईआर को लेके जो मुद्दा है कि तृणमूल बहुत दिनों पहले से ये कह रहा है कि एसआईआर हो रहा है, बीजेपी इलेक्शन कमीशन को देकर ये एसआईआर करवा ही रहा है कि बीजेपी के वोटर को रखेंगे, तृणमूल के वोटर को डिलीट करेंगे। अब ये नैरेटिव तृणमूल सेट करने का कोशिश कर रहा है। तृणमूल पहले से बोल रहा है कि हम एसआईआर करने नहीं देंगे, उसके बाद भी एसआईआर हो रहा है। एसआईआर को लेकर प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है, तो कौन कर रहे हैं प्रोटेस्ट, कौन लीड कर रहे हैं? जिनका नाम एसआईआर में नहीं आया, जो एडजुडिकेशन में है या पर डिलीटेड है, और जो कह रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी हमको सप्लीमेंट्री लिस्ट चाहिए। अब तृणमूल ही इसका लीडर है, तृणमूल ही इस प्रोटेस्ट को लीड कर रहा है। ये मुफक्किरुल इस्लाम जो है, ये कलकत्ता हाई कोर्ट का लॉयर है और ये बहुत इन्फ्लुएंशियल है। 2.8 मिलियन फॉलोअर है इसका फेसबुक में। ये बहुत सारे जगह पर जाके ऐसा ऐसा बात करते हैं कि लोग भड़क जाते हैं। अब कुछ दिनों पहले ही इनका एक वीडियो बाहर आया था, वायरल वीडियो, जहां पर ये कह रहे थे कि यूपी के चीफ मिनिस्टर का नाम है योगी आदित्यनाथ, उनका नाम मोहम्मद जवी कर देना चाहिए। ऐसा स्टेटमेंट इससे पहले भी मुफक्किरुल इस्लाम ने किया है, इससे पहले भी उसका पुलिस रिकॉर्ड है। अब वो इटाहार से मीम का कैंडिडेट थे, उससे पहले उनका तृणमूल से भी सुझाव था। अभी जो सिचुएशन है मालदा पर, इंग्लिश बाजार पर,
दोनों पार्टी सुमन कह रही है कि मुफक्किरुल इस्लाम दूसरे के लिए काम कर रहा है। बीजेपी कह रही है टीएमसी के साथ जुड़े हैं, टीएमसी कह रहे हैं बीजेपी के साथ जुड़े हैं। बात किसकी मानी जाए?
क्योंकि टीएमसी का जो कहना है कि वो बीजेपी के साथ जुड़े हैं, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि एआईएमआईएम और जुक जो नया बना है हुमायूं कबीर का पार्टी, ये बीजेपी का बी टीम है। इसलिए वो कह रहे हैं कि मुफक्किरुल इस्लाम जो बीजेपी के लिए काम कर रहे हैं।
हाँ.
अब बीजेपी कह रहे हैं कि वो टीएमसी का बी टीम है, तो टीएमसी के लिए वो काम कर रहे हैं। लेकिन ये सुजापुर में
for your rejoinder, whatever it is. But Mr. Bajoria, with elections right around the corner, let's focus on that as well. We're looking at a poll-bound state of West Bengal. How much of this is governance failure? How much of this is political mobilization on both sides? Let's not target one side. The probe is also now with the National Investigation Agency, sir. And are you confident that this is going to remain an impartial investigation, or is this going to turn into a center versus state confrontation?
It's like this. As far as I'm concerned, my party, if anybody who's involved in this, let the person be booked. As I said earlier, do not look at his colors. So there's no question that we are trading charges.
Okay.
If the person is, does it matter that the person is BJP or Trinamool? Book the person, but the very fact that the persons were not being booked and now it's being justified why they were not being booked is a very clear indication. It's a smoking gun that they're holding, that they didn't want to book TMC. One or two quick facts I'll put for the viewers.
Yeah, quickly, sir.
2002 was the last SIR. 35 lakhs were deleted out of 4 crore 30. Mamata Banerjee clapped. She applauded. Why? She was in the opposition. Now she's in the government. She knows that these are the false voters. She knew that SIR will strike down those false voters, and that is where the trouble is. Now, what your colleague just pointed out about the, how many people got linked with one person. भाई हमने तो महाभारत को पीछे छोड़ दिया। महाभारत में एक धृतराष्ट्र था, हमारे यहाँ तो 7-8 धृतराष्ट्र हो गए। 100 क्या एक के 325 संतान। We've even had a case of a grandfather at 42, grandson at 22, both voting. There's a case where the father and child's age difference is 10 years. This has been the thing of SIR. This is how they have tried to vitiate the SIR. But your question is, we are poll bound. Very soon we'll be polling. 23rd is the first phase, 29th is the second phase. Hardly much time left, right? I am very confident the polls will happen on time, and it will happen. I'm pretty sure and hopeful it will be peaceful. The people of West Bengal are not in it. It is not the people who are, it's a people's uprising. It's a Trinamool fear mongering. That is what is happening.
All right.
The polls will be peaceful and the polls will happen.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that good sense prevails. Suman, many thanks for taking on the time and bringing us up to speed with what's happening. But the word of caution is that tension is still simmering in the nearby districts, and the coming days could be really crucial in deciding what really happens. The BJP representative here, BJP leader Mr. Bajoria, says that the polls are going to be peaceful. Let's hope that good sense prevails. Many thanks, gentlemen, for taking on the time. Protest is a right, but the moment it turns into intimidation, we've got some of those pictures. Democracy takes a hit. And Malda now demands accountability, not just political blame. And this is not just about Malda, it's about a fundamental question. If those conducting the elections are being taken hostage, what does that say about the health of our democracy? The real question tonight is, will accountability now follow? Or will this again fade into noise? Remember, 23rd, first phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of In Your Interest. We're going to see you again next week. Many thanks for watching.